what is happening to Dan? Why is Dan doing a Solana video? What is going on? This is a centralized, VC driven, manipulated coin. What is Dan doing? I know there's going to be people out there that are. If you want to win in crypto, I'm going to say this right now. This isn't advice. This is just my take. This is how I see it. If you want to win in crypto, you're not going to find any tribalism here. If you want to win in crypto, ignore tribalism, pay attention to data, root for everybody to win. I see Solana right here on this chart. And yeah, I do think it's a VC driven, probably highly manipulated, centralized. If you look at the tokenomics, centralized blockchain, doesn't matter. I like this chart. I like this chart for many reasons. And it's the same sense of when we look at the Bitcoin chart, we look at the zoomed out Bitcoin chart, the roadmap for all of crypto. It doesn't matter if you own Bitcoin. If you hold altcoins, this piece of data is everything. This is a roadmap in terms of cycles, a roadmap in terms of what to anticipate. In the same sense, every altcoin, especially when it's pumping or crashing, is a piece of data that we need to pay attention to. And this is what I want to talk about in this video. We're going to dive into the charts, Solana charts, Cardano charts, and talk about if ADA can follow the track of Solana. But the first big point I want to make is, and that is a really nice weekly chart. Just look at that. I like to see that. When we're talking about exiting a bear market and shifting to a bull market, I want to see altcoins pump. I really don't care what altcoin is pumping. I want to see altcoins pump. And the first statement I want to make before even looking at the charts, if you've been in crypto for any amount of time, and then we're going to talk specifically about Cardano within this context. If you've been in crypto for any amount of time, one thing that you may have noticed and taken very strong note of is the very fact that altcoins, when they're pumping, they just take turns. And over the years, and early on, I've been a victim of this myself. Over the years, you will see people that they kind of hop around. They chase the pumps. They might have a holding of an altcoin that they're really just long-term on, they're excited about, and it's not doing anything. And then they see a chart like this and they're like, I picked the wrong one. And it's up in a few weeks. It's up like 70%, 80%. I guess I need to go buy this one. They leave the one that's not doing anything. They go buy the one that's pumping, and the one that's pumping, getting ready to top out and retrace, and the one they left starts pumping. Altcoins take turns. It is what it is. This is what crypto is. And we're going to see it for some time now, especially as we get ready to go into the next cycle. Just wait until an actual bull market is confirmed, and we're really kind of putting in parabolic gains. This is what happens. So the reason I think I'm putting in the title something like Cardano holders need to pay attention, and any altcoin holder that's not pumping right now needs to pay attention, because this is what crypto does. But now we can take the data and start actually applying it and talking about it. So you see what's happening with Solana right now, the 20-week moving average crossing nicely above the 50-week moving average on the weekly chart. You open up the momentum oscillators, you can actually see it. It's approaching overbought territory. That's good to take note of. But here's the other thing. Most recently, we have this MACD crossing above the signal line, the blue line above the signal line on this MACD momentum oscillator. And we see the MACD line for the first time since crossing below on this chart, the zero on the histogram, for the first time crossing above zero on the histogram. This is an ultra bullish indicator. That doesn't mean it's going to come without retracements. It will. There will be retracements on this chart. But this is a really nice macro bullish chart for Solana. It just is. It doesn't matter if you like Solana. It doesn't matter if you're just so against the protocol and the blockchain. Doesn't matter. This is important if you're an ADA holder and you're curious to know what's going to happen with ADA next from a technical analysis perspective. Solana on the daily chart, just a really nice daily chart. The 20 crossing above the 50 on the daily. Look at the separation that we see here on this daily chart. It's awesome. Want to make note of something though. This is something that happens time and time again. You can even see, and this is where we're going to start pivoting to Cardano, similar data to track in the coming hours and days. But you can see Solana already hit this overbought territory on this momentum oscillator right around here. You notice it retraced and it's kind of bouncing to the upside once again, putting in a higher high. So we're kind of getting this overbought double top, right? And when we get into this environment on any crypto, you just want to be mindful of it. Now, if we go to Cardano, here's Cardano on the weekly. It doesn't look as just explosive. It doesn't, right? In relation to ADA, put aside what I just said about altcoins in general, they take turns. It's true. In relation to ADA, we need to go a little bit of a step deeper. And this is just, if you evaluate data, look back historically, Cardano can be frustrating because it does tend to take time. It's behind. It takes time to make its move. And that's, I think, where a lot of the negativity, I think Cardano gets a lot of negativity because it finds itself in that environment often, right? We'll see a lot of different cryptos moving and Cardano not really doing anything. But what I want to say is this: when Cardano ADA moves, it moves. And it is explosive. And because the fact that it's surprising to many because it's going to come out of nowhere, and I think this will happen again, besides the fact that that happens, it's what excites me is the underlying fundamentals of Cardano are exciting because we have all of these narratives when ADA does blast off, when it happens, we have all these narratives that are going to play so nicely in the headlines, everybody. And that is to say, the explosiveness of DeFi right now. Out of all the protocols, Cardano DeFi is trending up. I don't know. I'm sure there's a couple others, but you look at something like Ethereum, Cardano DeFi is looking so nice with TVL coming online. The projects in this next bull cycle, when ADA does finally move, we have really nice narratives that are going to, I think, bolster the growth of ADA. So these are all not even so much opinions. These aren't my opinions. I'm not trying to throw copium out there or any hopium out there. This is just data. This is what has happened historically through cycles. Whether we are talking about Cardano or we're just talking about altcoins and how they move, this is how it's been so far. I would anticipate very similar type of deal. So when it comes to ADA, we have those data points that we just discussed, but we also have just the technical analysis of it all. Drown out the noise. Drown out what Solana is doing right now or what's happening in other altcoins right now. Look at the technical analysis of it all. And that is to say, where are we this cycle around compared to last cycle? And it is so on pace. If not, right now, interestingly, ADA above the 20-week moving average at this time of this cycle. You look back in the last cycle, ADA was still below that 20-week moving average. And that's kind of where the technical analysis and what Solana is doing right now in the daily kind of becomes intriguing to me. I want to see if ADA can actually do what Solana is doing. And again, it might take a little bit longer. This isn't like, hey, you're going to watch this video tonight and it's going to happen overnight. ADA is going to just follow Solana. But let's talk about the setup. Let's talk about potentially what could happen. Notice a very similar daily chart. More recently, the 20-day crossing above the 50-day. You go back to the Solana daily. This happened back here in early October. Well, what did Solana do? We got the cross. We had the revisit to the 20-day moving average, and then Solana exploded. If we go back to the ADA charts on the daily, that's actually something that we would talk about anyway. Even if Solana, we didn't have that illustration. We talk about the 20-day crossing the 50, the separation from those two areas, and a pullback to the moving averages. Solana did that before cruising to the upside. We have this scenario right now where ADA could do that, but also that plays into this setup that ADA has, and that is the falling wedge that we have on the screen with a target of above 40 cents, right? So we get the breakout of the upper trend line, which you see has happened. We have resistance at the 200-day moving average, which is something we should anticipate anyway, right around 30 to 31 cents, which kind of was around the short-term target that I was tracking, way too short-term of a target that I was tracking on the hourly chart. I don't usually do that. But some resistance right there, a pullback to the moving averages, even this upper trend line area, and there's a very confluent area of support there, that's in the range of 26 to 27 cents, could be the move for ADA before continuing to the upside. From just a general technical analysis type of standpoint, if I was going to sit here and do TA and talk about what is potentially in play, that's exactly what I would talk about. It's just this setup that's happening right now. We always look for pullbacks after breaking out of trend lines, or throwbacks, I should call it, in the same way that we're looking for pullbacks if we're breaking to the downside. So potential pullback to this confluent area, 26, 27 cents, or maybe just consolidation sideways, let the moving averages pull into ADA, and then explosive move to the upside. What I want to show you on the daily chart is if you zoom out just a little bit and we open up the momentum oscillators, check this out. We had ADA, and this is kind of the move that we're looking for, really, but even maybe more powerfully so. We had ADA, you can see for right now it's overbought, right? Well, ADA was overbought back here when it had its first move to the upside, had the 20-day moving average crossing above the 50, a little bit of a draw in to the 20-day moving average, and then it continued higher, right? As the momentum oscillator started fading. We might be looking for a similar type of scenario right now. Momentum oscillator starts fading. It's bearish divergence, right? When this is happening, we have the lower highs on the momentum oscillator and then higher highs on price. We might have a similar environment on our way up to that 40-cent range, right? So higher highs on price if ADA can break out, and then lower highs on the momentum oscillator as it cools off. And if that's the case, we will anticipate what support might look like from that area. But ultimately, we do want to see a move like that for ADA. And I'm not saying it'll happen. It might not happen. ADA might fall back into the wedge. If crypto starts falling, ADA might not see a breakout as powerful as Solana this time around. Suck it up. This is the way the crypto cycles are going to go. And we're going to have times where ADA is moving and nothing else is. And we're going to have times when everything else seems to be moving and ADA is not. This is welcome to crypto. It is the easiest, simplest way to put it. Go to the weekly chart. This is really the story we're tracking. If we can get that breakout to 40-cent region to the upside, check out where 40 cents is. It's on the weekly all the way up here, 40 cents. If ADA were to actually make the move, it would be diverging from what took place last cycle at this moment. That would be huge. It's already at a way higher price than it was in the last bear market or the winter, we can call it. But if it actually starts diverging to the upside differently than it did in the last cycle and earlier, pre-halving, this time around, that's going to be a powerful indicator, everybody. That's what I'm watching for. I don't know if it's going to happen. It may not. We might actually have to do what we did last cycle, which was kind of bottom out right after this red rectangle, right? Bottom out. Similar to what happened back here. That might happen. But if it does move to the upside, that 40-cent range, it's a huge move for ADA. So that's what I'll be watching. But if it does make the move, my point is this. We will be above the 20-week moving average, the 50-week moving average. And that is a massive move in terms of the story of the shift from bear to bull cycle. That's the move we're waiting for, everybody. So it could happen. This is what I'll be watching for. In the meantime, I will also be watching for support if ADA does start trending down to this upper trend line, this 20-day moving average, a 50-day moving average. And the other thing I want to point out is this. We looked at Solana on the weekly MACD. Well, check out Cardano on the weekly MACD. Just also had that MACD crossing above the signal line, the blue above the red, the histogram above zero. We don't have that MACD line above zero on the histogram just yet, but just you wait. That story is on its way. I really do think it is. And this is just a part of the process of waiting and tracking that. So I wanted to throw this out there. I really did. I like seeing coins even that I don't hold and I don't really have much of an interest in. I like seeing them pump. This is good. This is good. That's just my opinion. As an ADA value investor, and you all know I hold ADA, I would like to see the price go up. This is just documenting the journey. This is documenting my outlook. This is how I see the charts and how I see things playing out. And I really enjoy documenting this because it's just fun to see if it actually happens. We saw what happened last cycle. That was fun. Let's see what happens this cycle around. But these are all the targets I'm watching kind of in the short term, the setup I'm watching. And we'll just evaluate. We'll wait and see what happens. If you're out there, I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Make sure to turn the notifications on. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.